All right. If you just do it, it'll turn out okay, even if it's at 6 a.m. in the morning, for me at least. And after third shift.
I'm a little bit luckier. It's 10 o'clock at night here, so.
So, welcome to Talking Time of Caffeine, the only podcast where we talk about whatever the hell we want to talk about, usually. From video games to science to wrestling. Who knows?
We can definitely talk about that.
But first of all, I have my new guest for today. Introduce yourself, guest for today.
Hey, everyone. I'm Chris. I'm also known as the Atheist Pastor. I've got a little YouTube channel where I talk about atheist stuff, a bit of politics, and just general life stuff. So, you might even get me talking about the wrestling at some point on my channel. So you never know. But, yeah, that's me. Come check me out.
Yep, he is very close to 200, so put him over the limit.
Yeah, love to get to that magic 200 mark. But more importantly, you're pretty close to 1,000.
Yeah, once I hit 1,000, I am 1% of the way to getting that little button thing.
Absolutely. No, we've got to make sure. So anyone who's come in that I've shared the link with, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, do it now because you could be the 1,000th, and I'm sure there's a prize for that.
Yep, the prize is you get a comment on all my videos.
There you go. Well, there you go, and a little bit of fame. I think it's definitely worth it.
Yeah. So how did you come up with your YouTube name?
So to explain it, I've got to give a little bit of my background. So I'm a former Christian leader, and what happened was every time I was at anything sort of where there was the local prophet came out or there was people speaking over lives, they always said that everyone prophesied I was going to be a pastor, and everyone in the church said I was going to be a pastor. So when I actually went down the path with the plan of becoming a pastor. So when I became an atheist, I thought, I don't want to let them down. I'll become the atheist pastor.
Back in my past life, I considered becoming a children or youth pastor in my past life. Kind of.
Yeah, I was doing worship leading, and I was sort of up the front of the band and singing all that good kind of stuff. And it was definitely feels like a past life to me. But I guess I'm still doing the same thing, just without Jesus now.
Yeah, I am too, kind of, because when I was a youth leader helping the children and stuff, I did puppet ministry and stuff. I also was the photographer. I was taking pictures of everything, or videotaping everything. So now I'm using my video skills in reverse.
That's it. Well, it's funny. All the training I had in because part of going through Bible college and the study side of things is they teach you about public speaking and a lot of different things like that. So I thought it was quite ironic that I'm now using those skills to essentially speak out against it and talk about I guess the way that they push those skills to essentially manipulate the church and their flock.
So when you were still a Christian, were you in the YEC group, the OEC group, or the Theistic Evolution group?
Look, I was in the YEC group for a little bit. Look, I'm not someone who's particularly scientific, so I'm actually a historian. And science has always just gone over my head, to be honest. So when I first got right into it, I did go down the YEC path because what I guess the young earthers were talking about, I didn't know enough to bunk it, and I just thought, this is what they were pushing at the church. But what happened was I started reading up on evolution and very quickly got out of that mindset and started to become, I guess, an old earth creationist, or even sort of look at Genesis as being something poetic. And it was actually when I was doing my theology degree that it's sort of that's what got the wheels spinning for me, because I started to look at it and just go, well, hang on a second, what's in here? It has to be, if the Bible's true, it absolutely must be young Earth creationists. So creationism. And I had an issue with it at that point. I thought I really need to look into this. So I guess I looked into, I read Dawkins, and a few, I watched a few things on YouTube, and I guess started down the rabbit hole a little bit that way.
Yeah, my rabbit hole was kind of different, but the same almost. I was also into history, reading the history books even as a young age, and I love the old timelines of the prehistoric past life. The little trilobites and stuff, little squid things. I read them all at the library all the time, and so of course, growing up, believing it Bible has to be true. So I guess I was an old Earth creationist until I learned about evolution and this.
Yeah, and I guess it's easy to, I guess when you don't have a scientific background, it's pretty easy to go, especially if you're in a church, it's pretty easy to just follow what they're saying, and because they're people who are trusted.
You trust the people who
yeah,
and so. But then stuff started, for me at least, and for a while I figured anything before Genesis 12 was just whatever. The flood and all that stuff, was just But well, even then, I still believe the flood was true for a long time. But like my brain was clicking. I was like, wait a minute. They say the flood's 4,000 years ago, but Native Americans were over here in America, Western land, 10,000 years ago. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, and that's where you start to, and once then you start to look into things, and and look, there is a lot of young Earth creationist kind of explanations for a lot of that. That's the young Earth creationist to me would have just said, well, no, you're relying on flawed dating methods to, and clearly it's an exodus after the flood. So
you want to know how I tried to justify it in my brain for a long time. I was like, obviously the flood happened before 2,000 years ago. Duh.
Yep. Yeah, there was I remember there was some thought as to, all right, well, what's a day? Because, a day can be 1,000 years in heaven. So, maybe it actually occurred over a longer period of time, and where you can't take it as literal days. And, I guess there was a bit of that too. But, look, it was I guess the good thing about Genesis is it is so full of holes when you actually read into it that it's a really good jumping off point to get out of Christianity. It's sort of I guess by contrast, Judaism and Islam as well, because it's just so blatantly full of crap. Once you look into it, it's easy to buy if you don't have the facts, but once you look into it, it's just
Was it a slow process for you or a fast process? For me, it was getting a little slow, because even after I dropped out of church like 10 years ago, I still had the Christian, I still, believed the basic stuff for a long time, even after that.
I think once I realized and started down the rabbit hole, it kind of, I think it happened pretty quick for me. I just didn't realize it. And I was trying to hang on for a long time and sort of still stay with it. People that say, we haven't seen you at church for a little bit. Is everything okay? I'd be, oh yeah, everything's fine. I'm just, looking for a new church. I've just moved. Still had my kids going to, they've got like scripture in Australia, which is like, it's where religion's taught in school, depending on what your denomination is. And it was it was sort of probably a bit over a year ago that, actually, it was in Australia we had a vote on legalizing same-sex marriage, and I voted yes for it. And what I actually did was I made a point of, it was almost like my coming out as an atheist, and I think it was that point in my head too where I went, no, I'm definitely an atheist. There's nothing left hanging on for me from my old belief system. And I'd actually put something on Facebook, and it was basically, that was my way of sort of coming out and I guess and saying, hey, this is what I believe, and I don't believe in the fairy tales anymore. I put it a bit nicer than that, but that was essentially what happened. That's the long version anyway.
So what do you do on your channel, anyways?
Yeah. So look, a lot of it is just having community. One of the things I found when I left religion, and formally left religion, especially, was I lost a lot of friends, lost a lot of that community, and I guess I was looking for something like that in the atheist community, and just looking for people, who you can do life with, I guess. So. A lot of the time, it's I normally do what's called Friday Night Six Pack, which is where sort of up to six of us just jump on and sit around, have a couple of drinks on a Friday night, and just kind of chat about whatever's going on, religious issues, politics, just general life.
Yeah,
I do some debunk videos as well. I've got a couple of Christian preachers I like to pick on, and I've also do a bit on politics, because politically I'm what's called centre right, so I'm not I'm probably in the minority, and I wanted to create a safe space, I guess, for people who probably hold a similar political view to me, because it can be a little bit confronting when you come in, and there's probably not a lot of voices that match. So we do a bit of that as well. So it is. I've only been going for about sort of 2.5 months. So I'm still, I guess, working it out a little bit. I guess a few things I thought when I first started have probably changed now, and probably will continue to change. But yeah, I guess it's a process.
yeah. My channel has changed a lot over the 10 plus years I've had it on. Yeah, when I first started my channel, is going to be I was to be a videographer for my friend's band.
Mm-hmm.
Then that band fell apart. So that was going to be like, actually, for a while, I thought about doing some actually children's Christian ministry with puppets on my channel for a while, for years. Oh, that would have been God, how times have changed. And
look, if I had started 10 years ago, it would have been a very, very religious channel, let me assure you. So you're not the only one there.
Like I wonder if I kept going that path, if I'd been one of the channels you guys are debunking right nowadays.
Yeah, well, it's I think it's always interesting if you can debunk yourself, isn't it?
Yeah. So
could always backdate a few videos.
I did the rants, then I did the game playing, and then I went to the podcast.
Yeah, I think I find the podcast or the live stream tends to be, well, it's pretty much all I do now. So it's whether it's religion, politics, or just general kind of life. It's always, I just find that the live format and the podcast format, I just think it's I don't know. I like the fact that sometimes if something's unedited, I think it comes across a lot better. And I find that if I don't have to sort of overthink or read a script, that I don't know, it works for me. I know it does. It's everyone's different, but definitely
script writing's hard sometimes. I try doing it, and I just can't write very well. But I thought about doing the debunking videos a while back ago. I might still try it, but it's just I watched a few minutes of those videos. I'm like, God, my brain hurts. I can't go on. I give props to the people who do that. I don't think what the whole thing edit, or they like take 2 minutes and then take a break or something and do 2 more minutes, because I couldn't handle it.
No, I just like to get it all out of the way. And look, ironically, it's probably in part because of my training in preaching, because they just teach you to go up and go live, and how to I guess talk on your on your feet and sort of think off the cuff and a lot of that kind of stuff. So so I guess thank you Bible College for that one.
Yeah. So do you have any memories of your church life that you remember?
Oh, too many, unfortunately. See, I was a little bit different. I grew up in a non-religious family, so I was the anomaly. I actually became a Christian in my early 20s, and I was the only one in my family.
Rebel.
Oh yeah. So I rebelled against the family by becoming very religious, and look, I've got interesting memories. I've got a lot of good memories. I did have some good friends, and I've still got some good friends. Even today, from the church, I did have a lot of people who decided to abandon me, but no, look, some really good times, some interesting things I saw. It's watching and participating in praying demons out of people. That was certainly even now when I think about it, it was a surreal experience, because I guess it's the mindset and the mental sort of position that you put yourself in when you do that. So that was certainly some of the more interesting things. And it's because I was in leadership. I was always one of the ones up the front, sort of laying on the hands and saying, Satan, be gone, and out with you, devil, and be gone in Jesus' name, and all that kind of stuff. So I sort of look back on that now and just go, man, what the?
Yeah. I was in the Southern Baptist group growing up, but luckily for me at least, I've been to other churches too, visiting, but my church didn't really care about clothing that much. They weren't really that you have to be dressing up every day. Most of us wore jeans or shorts, there, and they didn't really care. So like,
yeah.
But I remember two times. I remember most of all is one time this guy preached for 15 minutes, and I was bored out of my mind, and it's like, oh God. Like it seemed like forever, like 15 minutes. I'm like, is it done? I'm like, is it done yet?
Yep.
It's the other guy.
Sat through a few of those.
Yeah, this other guy, I at the time. My friend would pick me up after the service. My friend would pick me up. I'm like, hey, you just get here or something? Like, no, I've been here waiting for an hour. Like, what? He like for 2 hours, like for 2 hours. And I was like so into it. Like,
oh yeah.
Didn't even notice the time.
No, and I went to fairly charismatic churches, so it was I guess Australian Pentecostal, which is a little bit different to American Pentecostal, but probably fairly close to Southern Baptist. I think is probably the closest, but that was sort of the churches I found myself in. So very charismatic. A lot of the speakers, I mean, they trained in things like neuro-linguistic programming, so they could get up and they could hold an audience in the palm of their hand, and that's a lot of the training that they were trying to throw back to us as well, for when we got up and spoke. But it's funny you mentioned the whole dress thing, and I do remember my first experience walking into church, and I got invited by a friend, and I've dressed really nicely, and I've gone in, and there's the guy who's preaching the sermon. He's in shorts and thongs, I don't know, sorry, thongs in Australia and the US mean something very different. Sandals, flip flops, I don't know what you call them, but I guess uncovered footwear. So that was sort of that was my introduction. And I remember one of the times I actually got up and preached, and there were some people who were they were fairly immodestly dressed and really dagging. I remember getting up and actually doing like half a sermon on how to present yourself. If you're coming to the kingdom of God, if you're going to meet the Queen, you would dress up, and you're coming into the house of God. And I kind of had a go at everyone, and I remember the next week everyone was dressed a lot better. But now, like, I sort of look back and just think, man, I was a real ass about that.
Yeah, like only time like we dressed up really, I mean, fancy was like the Easter time. You see people. Some of the older people they always dressed up dresses and stuff, but us kids were like, whatever, we're here.
Yeah, no. If we ever like had to go, with some of the family who were, especially the older family who were religious on an Easter or something like that, and what we'd do is, it'd be a different church. You go to the Anglican Church, which is Church of England, or I don't know what the equivalent in the US would be. So you go to something like that, it's a little bit more old-fashioned. We'd dress up, and you'd sit there and fall asleep while they sung the old hymns. The old lady up the front singing the really high voice, and but that was pretty much the only time until I had to go at everyone. But even then, I wasn't telling everyone to go in suit and tie. It was just dress a bit nicer. But now I kind of think, man, people were under enough pressure to be there at church, and there I was kind of being a bit of an ass to them all.
Well, some people are just assholes to gain sense.
Yeah, maybe I'm just an asshole. I don't know, but hopefully there was a few people I turned off church at that time too. So it's I know, unfortunately, it's one of my biggest regrets is I did bring a lot of people to church, and I know there's a lot of people who got right into it after I for lack of a better term, got them saved. And it's one of my biggest regrets because, and look, it was all with good intention, but now I sort of look at it and go, have I just, have I actively ruined these people's lives by having them and potentially their kids and, their families sort of believe in something that's complete, hogwash?
Yeah, I was a recruiter too. I was like, I was one of the people happily hanging out, like invite, hey, come to the youth thing, come to the youth thing, come to the youth thing. And straight, like, hey, come, my friends, like, come on. I was like all excited and happy and inviteful.
Yeah. Oh yeah, well, the youth was always the easiest to get people along to because you say, I used to say, oh, you should say, oh, this band that's playing tonight, they are really good. Like it's a Christian thing, it's a youth group thing, but come along, man, because they are awesome, and people would come along, and that was it. Then it's the message sort of gets preached, and once again, I did all this with the best of intention, and I wasn't actively trying to deceive people, but now I look back at it and I think, holy, I was actually conditioned myself to deceive people actively without realizing that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's lots of regrets, and all I can do is, go and make up for it now and do the best I can with what I've got left.
It's funny. I was looking at my iTunes account, and I downloaded a lot of CDs years ago. And half of my CDs are Christian CDs now.
Yeah, my iTunes played when I got a new iPhone, and it automatically downloads all the old music. Well, I haven't opened iTunes for ages, but it connected to my Bluetooth, and a Hillsong song, "How Great Is Our God," came on, and I'm just like, oh no, why? And I'm just like, stop. Fortunately, no one else was in the car though. That could have been embarrassing.
See, I think that one of the CDs I had a lot of was Carmen.
Okay.
Yeah, you ever heard of him?
No.
At the time, I think pretty cool at the time. He had all these little different kinds of music, like beats, and he just changes the words and stuff.
Ah, okay, yeah. No, there was who was the big one? There was Russ Taff used to get a decent sort of playing with us. Hillsong, I mean, Hillsong's huge. Same with C3 Christian City Church. They're sort of, probably two of the biggest producers of Christian music there is. Brooke Fraser, things like that always used to sort of get a what was the metal band, the 80s metal band, Striker or Striper or something. I should know this because I used to have their albums, but they used to get a run. I can see Vagrant Sam's he's in the chat. Was it Striker or Striper or something? You'd know, Sam. You probably had the albums too. But there was some. I mean, there's some good produced stuff. Like Christian music is well produced, but there's also some complete garbage as well.
Yeah, I really was into the hymn music that much.
Yeah, no, it was a big part because, well, I mean, I was.
Some songs are still stuck, even though even some of those hymns are still stuck in my head, even years later.
Oh, you can't get rid of them. It's you'll. And look, I mean, for me, some of these songs were very catchy. I mean, it's when I got married, it was our first dance was to a Christian song, and my wife walked down the aisle to a Christian song. So some of those songs are going to be stuck with me regardless.
Speaking of that, apparently last year I found this Japanese anime about the Japanese made this anime about the life of the guy who wrote most of these songs. In an anime, it's like it was weird. It was funny and weird. Like this life of a teenage Southern songwriter.
In Japanese anime, Japanese anime is brilliant though. A lot of it. Yeah. There's some real cool stuff. I'm a massive comic and comic art fan, but I take my hat off to the Japanese style. They definitely they've got some good stuff.
So So what kind of anime do you watch? You like?
Well, comics, mainly, like DC, Marvel. I'm pretty big. I think at last count, I've got about 50,000 comics. So I've got a pretty big, pretty big sort of collection.
I probably had that many before, and they got lost or thrown away, or I wasn't really good at keeping organized and stuff. My dad was
Yep.
threw stuff away all the time.
I can't promise that I've read them all. In fact, I can guarantee I haven't. I went through a phase where I was just purely collecting. So I just have boxes of things show up. Yep. Yeah, that would come in. So
I'm back. Yeah,
all good.
I've been into these comics lately. The Dog Naruto series.
Oh yeah, cool.
Games, anime. So check it out. It's pretty cool. If you like murder mysteries and stuff.
Oh, look, I like anything that's got a decent story, but I'm just a sucker for the classics, like the Batman and all those good kind of things. It's Flash is another big one. Obviously, if you can see behind me, you can see all new Wolverine.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I'm putting it the wrong way. So all new Wolverine. That's just one of my favorites, and the two comics underneath that I've got are actually, it's Marvel versus DC, which was a crossover event where they all fought each other. It's a 4-part series. Back in the 90s, and then the other one's a famous Detective Comics 880.
Oh, and Vagrant Sam, it was DC Talk. Jesus Freak, I'm pretty sure. That's the name of the band. That song you're talking about.
If it was ZZ Top, they're definitely not Christian.
No, DC Talk.
Oh, DC. Okay, I thought you said ZZ. I was thinking, wow.
It was DC Talk, because I have that CD too, or I had that CD.
Yeah, it's fortunately, I think I got rid of all of my CDs, regardless of what they were years ago. So I don't have. There's no remnants lying around. It's just the old iTunes account. Whenever it tries to connect to the phone, even though iTunes isn't a thing now, but
it's not.
Yeah, that's always fun.
So how did you all meet your little circle, like, of friends you have on YouTube now?
Yeah, look, it was Navadia, actually. I came across her one of her videos and saw a few of them, sort of liked them, started to follow them, and ended up we just started chatting, and I sort of mentioned, I was sort of thinking about starting a channel, and she introduced me to pretty much everyone, and I guess it sort of started from there. So it's pretty much all sort of stemmed from I guess my finding Navadia and going there, and then obviously there's some other people who are sort of in the community, and that are sort of in a similar position, who are sort of starting, like Sam, who's in the chat. Sam, I think, started about the same time, or possibly just after or just before me. But so it's good, because it's good to have other people that I guess we can talk to and say, this is what's working for me, this isn't what's working for me, and just to even just support each other, because it can be a lonely place in Australia being an open atheist. So most Australians are atheists, but just don't care. So when you come out of religion, there isn't that good support structure, I guess, that you've got in the US. We're kind of a little bit on our own, so we tend to look after each other a bit here. But no, I keep meeting people, and it's an awesome community. Like there's a few people who I've sort of, rolled my eyes at, but 99% of people are awesome.
Yeah, Navadia is the first one I met too, from Australia.
Yep.
Yeah, I see guest starred on Paul's channel. I'm like, oh, who's this girl?
Yeah. Yep.
Followed her, and through her, watching her because on her videos, and that's when I saw Natcha's, her crossover with Natcha. I'm like, oh, they're there. And then I met you a week or two ago with when she did her fundraiser, or I clicked came on your channel, and that's all.
And a very poorly sung "Happy Birthday" to you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was interesting, with all the lag and the different the different tones, the different sort of timing. It's just like, wow. I watched that back and just thought, oh, very happy that you can't hear me that well, because I would have been so out of key.
Yeah.
But no, it's good, and I think that's the nice thing about the online atheist community, especially the YouTube community, is it's a very welcoming community. It's a very supportive community. Everyone there doesn't seem to be too many people who are doing it for the wrong reasons. I think there's a few, but most people are here for the right reasons and because they believe in what they're doing and want to sort of get the word out, and also it's a good way to express yourself. I find, but I mean, for me, my Friday night social life is now. I used to go out to the bars and things like that, and now my Friday night social life is I jump on YouTube and chat to my friends. It's great.
Yeah. I logged on last morning. Yes, it's just confusing. It's morning for me, night for you, but you didn't have your Friday night yesterday.
I'm coming to you from the future.
Yeah. Yesterday, you didn't have your Friday night thing yesterday, I don't think.
No, I was a bit off yesterday, so I thought I'll save myself so I'm nice and fresh for you tonight.
Priorities this game.
Absolutely. But it's good. It's it's enjoyable. Even earlier today, I sort of jumped in a stream with Jen. She was from Jen's Little Corner. She was doing a bit of a debunk on good old Kent Hovind, and so just jumped in, had a bit of fun with that. And as much as I guess it's good to get information out there. For me, it's social too. It's it's something I really enjoy. It's
that's the one thing I missed when I taught in church for a long time was the social aspect. Hanging out with people.
And it's a hard thing, and I think that's something that people don't realize when they jump out of religion. The impact that can have, and I think that's why a lot of people who I guess become atheist or realize that they are an atheist do tend to go back to church so quickly. It's because that whole social aspect, and because we're a social species, we've got that desire and need for it. I mean, there was a few times where I even considered, I don't believe in any of it, but you sort of, and not that I'm lonely because I've got a lot of friends and family, but I was missing that community as part of my life, and there was times I genuinely thought, what, I might just go back and try a church again. But fortunately, I didn't.
Going down the rabbit hole.
Oh, that rabbit hole. It's a good rabbit hole.
So.
Catch you later, Sam.
And then there were two.
Then there were two.
Let's see.
But so you're a wrestling fan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I did a few podcasts about wrestling last 2 years ago in my first season too.
Yep. Yeah, I came across some of that.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for it. So my big question is, who do you think is going to win the Royal Rumble?
I don't know. Who do I think or who do I want?
Well, both. Who do you think will win and who do you want to win?
Let's see. I'm not sure. I think they're trying to do another Roman thing, maybe, or building it up Roman Reigns again.
Mm-hmm. Possibly.
I like him, but I want him to win because I think doing that might undo all the goodwill he's been getting this past year.
I think keeping him out of the title picture has been good.
Since the return from cancer, all that people trying to like him again, and that goodwill. I think that might just go back to the way he was before.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Because I've got a theory myself, and
yeah.
I want to put it on the internet because if it happens, then I'm gonna call it pure prophecy.
Here's his prediction right here.
All right, so Brock Lesnar enters at number 1, but prior to the Royal Rumble, it's announced that the match is for the title. So whoever wins the Royal Rumble gets to keep the title. That's Paul Heyman will come out and announce it'll be the big thing. Brock Lesnar enters first with either a Drew McIntyre or a Roman Reigns coming in with him and gets eliminated instantly, meaning that from the start of it, the title is on the line.
McIntyre.
Whoever eliminates whoever. I hope McIntyre. I hope McIntyre. In a way, I hope, but I also hope not, because I think whoever takes out Lesnar is going to be fighting Lesnar at WrestleMania. And I want McIntyre to win. I actually like McIntyre. I want him to win the title. I want him to be a champion at some point. He's just so good and so underused. But that's my prediction. So Lesnar goes in at number 1, title's on the line, and he goes out within the 2 minutes. Although if I had my way, Shawn Michaels would come back, win the whole thing, and hold the title forever. I love HBK.
Shit.
Huge fan.
Yeah. Even though I was a huge fan of his return match last year, it was kind of.
Yeah. He. I don't watch the Saudi Arabia stuff. I just.
Neither do I. I don't watch either. I think I didn't watch either, but I all I heard about was it sucked. It sucked.
Actually, sorry, I tell a fib. I did watch the last one, but only because they had the women fighting there. There was Natalia and Lacey Evans, and I thought, you know what, that's actually a pretty big deal when women are competing in Saudi Arabia, which up until a couple of years ago, they couldn't leave their home.
Even that had the bad thing about the plane thing afterwards.
Yeah, they all got stuck there, but that was okay because then all the NXT guys came up, and that was pretty cool. Adam Cole, baby, love him.
They do. I have to admit, WB does have good back when something goes wrong. Like they can come on their feet really fast.
Yeah, I thought they would have put it was good they brought the NXT guys and girls in, but I thought they would have done maybe another Evolution, like an all women's event. I thought that would have been a real good opportunity for that. Because the hottest act in wrestling at the moment is Becky Lynch. I mean, she's been the hottest act for 18
I think she's
months.
hot, but I think I think they're like not. I think they're not really. I think she does it to herself. She's like she make herself popular. The company didn't, in my opinion.
Oh no, it was all her. Yeah, she went the whole turn bad, and how good's it been for her?
They try to turn her bad. People were like, nope.
I mean, if you could imagine 12 months before the last WrestleMania, if I had said to you, Becky Lynch is going to main event and win the title at WrestleMania, you would have laughed at me.
I remember her. I think she was a champion one time a few years ago. She completely out of the picture until she wasn't.
But I think Shayna Baszler wins the Women's Royal Rumble and will take on Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. Hopefully main event. Because I think that'd be a good main event.
Oh yeah. Last year, besides the Becky thing, I think everyone was into the Kofi thing last year.
Oh yeah, Kofi Mania.
Yeah, and it's like this is funny. That's the things that happen by accident. Yeah. The one guy gets injured, he gets in his place, and all of a sudden,
and that's it. All of a sudden, he's being pushed to the moon, But he'd been there for ages, and deservedly so. He's from all accounts, he's a decent guy, and good on him. Good on him. He had his run until Brock Lesnar finished him in 9 seconds, and so be it. Incidentally, I still haven't watched SmackDown yet, so no spoilers, whatever you do.
Okay.
But,
I didn't either. I clicked a few clips on YouTube, but yeah.
But no, I'm a huge I'm a huge nerd when it comes to this kind of stuff. It's if it's science fiction, if it's wrestling, if it's comic books, it's just I love it. Can't get enough of it.
I think my first wrestling video was about John Cena.
Okay.
Yeah, back during the time I called it the Cena curse. Back when he did still the SummerSlam and he lost every SummerSlam match he had for a long time.
Yep. That's going back. I see. My first one, I go back even further. It was WrestleMania 7, and I remember going to a video store when I was a kid, and there was WrestleMania 7, and so that was back that happened in 91. It was probably about 93. I saw it, and that was it. I watched it. Hulk Hogan beat the Sergeant Slaughter, and it was just I got hooked. And the Ultimate Warrior versus the Macho Man.
Back when Hulk Hogan was still a household name before he went crazy.
Yeah. Well, he's still trying to be relevant, but he's look, I don't think anyone takes a 70-year-old man with saggy man boobs and a bad
Yeah,
tan too seriously.
I,
He'd
I,
probably still kick my ass though.
I think so. I like him. Then I found out I like him as much as I used to. Not just because of his his porn video either, but
How bad was that?
but it was because
I didn't watch. I didn't watch it. I'm not saying it was bad.
from what I've read about him, and I don't know if it's true or not, but videos I read about him, how he never wanted to help the younger talent coming up. It was like it was always me, and that never lose. Like even the Undertaker has been there as long as Hulk has, but he lays down for people to help them get over if he needs to.
So I remember listening to Eric Bischoff, and what Bischoff said was that actually wasn't the case. He said Hogan wouldn't lose just for the sake of losing. There'd have to be a good reason. And he kept pointing. He said, Billy Kidman beat Hulk Hogan clean once, and because the story made sense, and Hulk was fine with it so long as the story made sense. But I think you don't get to the point he got to without a lot of backstage politicking, and if it wasn't him, someone else would have done it anyway. Not that makes it right or wrong, but
yeah, like I think the one people talk about the most was the WrestleMania 9 thing.
Oh, that was yeah. I remember it. I was I say I was a kid. I was about 12 at the time, 11, 12 when that happened, and I remember thinking, oh, how cool is that? Now I sort of look back and go, actually, that was pretty crap. I mean, he comes out, Yokozuna challenges him after Yokozuna's had a match and he beats him in like 10 seconds. I'm thinking, okay, good twist at the end, but why?
Because the time they said, I think from what I've heard, they didn't think Bret Hart would be a good draw.
Yeah, well, I remember them saying that I think that the plan was, and they even got photos for it, at SummerSlam, it was going to be Hogan Hart. And Hogan was going to drop the belt to Hart. So that was the original plan apparently. But it was that was a weird. When I look back at it, that was a weird one. It was a cool card, but definitely weird. It had Doink the Clown in it, so Doink was cool.
Oh yeah, I think my first wrestling experience was my friend's house watching it. It was during the Vince Triple H feud.
Okay. Yep.
99, back when he married Stephanie for Pretend at least.
Yep. Yeah, so that's when I started to get back into it, because we didn't have wrestling here in Australia for years. It was really hard to come by. Then all of a sudden it was Survivor Series 98, which is the one where The Rock won the title for the first time. That was my reintroduction back into wrestling. And
back when he tricked her, back when he that year right before I started watching it, back when he like I'm watching it now. It's funny. That's a some good storytelling back then, where they're like he pretended to be friends with Mankind. All of a sudden, and it gets The Rock, but all of a sudden, surprise!
Yeah, the big twist. Mind you, I watched some of that stuff back now, and I remember thinking back in the day, it was so how good's this? And everyone sort of goes, the Attitude Era. But I watched some of it back, and like some of them, like the main storylines with the big guys were good, but some of the other ones that were going on, they were so bad. Like Val Venus, getting his old fella chopped off by a sword, and some of those stories. And I sort of it's almost.
Do you remember the Right to Censor group?
Oh yeah, with Mr. Venus, the Good Father. Yeah. Oh yeah, yep.
It's like they think that.
It's like me when I went through my churchy phase.
Oh yeah.
But that was. See, they were entertaining though. That was entertaining. You always wanted to see them get beaten up, because they were stopping everyone. Seeing all the TNA and all that kind of stuff. And but now I sort of look back and they'd probably be the good guys, I think, nowadays.
Yeah,
because it's a different world. But definitely, I was definitely always loved it. Never grew out of it.
So you do any video games?
I play. I mainly sort of PC games. I'm into. World of Warcraft player, but
Oh, really?
yeah,
I got the card. I'm taking a break right now from it, even
yep,
though I do have a thing. So you doing the old doing the retail, well, retail now, but you doing the
classic.
or yeah,
Yeah,
classic or the modern
I
one?
went I went back and played classic for a little bit, but I'm back to modern. I'm just waiting for the new patch to come out, and
Yeah,
then
I need to
obviously
go
the
back
new
to the
expansion.
modern one too, but
Yeah.
I wanted to get to 60 to see what the old raids were like back then. See, I gotta admit, it is a lot slower and harder. Classic
Oh,
is.
it's just grindy. It's yeah, it's just, and because you die so easy in it, it's just it takes a lot of the fun out of it, and you can get stuck in areas, and I guess that's the way it was. I started playing when the first expansion came out, so you know,
Yeah,
I was sort of
I didn't start till Wrath, so I never experienced the
okay. Well, that was
some of
I
the
was just
like.
before that, so yeah, so it was obviously it was all different, and you know, I guess it made me appreciate how good the modern one was. But no, I'm taking a bit of a break until the new expansion and probably the
Yeah,
new patch comes out,
it's
and
yeah.
it's just, there's only so many times you can do a raid. But no, I prefer like Hearthstone, play like Civ 6. I play a bit of Civ, sort of games like that. Europa
Yeah,
Universalis.
I have owned every Civilization game since it came out. Since Civ 1 with the
Yep,
little
same.
blocky character, with the little block characters to
Yep.
Civ 6 or
I know I'm
now.
the same. Every time a Civ comes out, I'm all over it. I just grab it. Actually, if you like Wrath of the Lich King, you probably can't see it, but in the background there, that's an original Wrath of the Lich King special edition box
Nice.
with all the stuff in it, apart from the mouse pad that I use. But yeah, I've got a. It's part of my my tribute to nerd that I have on on the back shelf there.
Yeah, I actually got the game before Wrath. I got during the BC era, but I couldn't play it because I still had my parents still, and I still had dial up. They dial up still, so like I figured
Oh
what's the point?
damn! Yep.
Because I played my first MMO I played was FF11,
Yeah. Yeah.
and playing on dial up was a fun experience. I had to when the patches came up, I had to turn the phone. I had to go wake up, turn my computer on at nighttime, log in, and play it all night long, and then
Yep.
turn it off in the morning.
Uh,
The phone calls. So I'm pick the phone up, just disconnected.
yeah, that's it straight away. It's yeah, it's and that you know that
But
that sound.
I remember my first time with cable. I was at my friend's house, to download the patch of the game,
Yep.
and and like and like we something else, and it came back 30 minutes later. It was done. Like 30, like done. Like wait a minute, what do you mean it's done? It's only been like 30, 40 minutes. It's done. Like what?
Yep. I remember downloading a song back in the Napster days, and it'd take you like an hour to download a song, and it was just like, how cool and how quick is this? And now it's just like you download a song, and legally now, of course, and it's just like it's instant. You just you stream the thing. I mean, it's just so different. It's amazing. I think we take a lot of it for granted how good we've got it now.
Yeah, I remember my first non-Apple computer, first PC. I thought it was so big. It had a whole 5 GB hard drive. I'm like,
Oh,
space.
wow. That's like
Now this thing has like 10 times that. This phone has like 5 times that
yeah.
amount, or 6 times that amount now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a terabyte would have been unthinkable. But
So you probably remember the actual floppy disk, don't you? The 5 inch, 5 inchers.
yeah, it's I mainly had the 3.5 rather than the 5.25.
You had the hard floppy, not the
Yeah,
floppy.
it's because we had the when I was growing up, we got the computer was called the Amstrad, and then not long after we went to the PC, the 286, and it was always the smaller floppy disk. But I actually saw one of them in a museum the other day, and it was actually quite depressing because I thought, man, I grew up with that, and now it's in a museum.
Yeah. My first computer was like an Apple IIc computer, like at a garage sale.
Yep. No, it's then it's sort of it's amazing sort of how far it's all sort of come along now, but it's good. It's
And you have those dot matrix printers that went zzz, zzz, zzz,
oh yeah,
with the little liners on the side, you rip off.
yep, oh yeah, they were great fun. They were really good.
Oh yeah,
But
showing our age.
yeah, a little bit, but it's okay. It's all right. It's there's nothing wrong with that. I'll just do a quick shout out on Twitter too, and just get some more people in here. So bear with me half a second. I'm just quickly flipping over to do that because I did promise everyone I'd actually put it on when I went on, and I forgot to do that. So yeah, so I'm just going to do that.
Yeah, I don't. Sometimes I don't feel. Sometimes I don't feel old. Sometimes I do feel old. I feel old at work a lot of times.
Yep.
I mainly work with teenagers and stuff, and people in their 20s. But I only felt old a few months ago when I was working with someone who I working with this one girl who I graduated with her mom.
Okay. Yep.
I want to be like you guys, like you work with somebody. I went to school with your mom. Like that's just like wow, that feels weird saying that.
That's all right. I've actually gone back to do some more studies, and at university, I'm not quite twice the age of everyone, but not far off it. And I was having there's just a friend of mine from class, and she's 20 years old, and we're there having a bit of a chat and a joke, and then out of nowhere she said, "I just realised you're old enough to be my dad," and I just went, "Yeah, only just, but yep." And that was a real kind of deflating moment for me.
One of my classmates on my birthday, one of my classmates had a grandchild born this past on my birthday. So I share the same birth. I share the same birthday of their grandkid now.
Yeah,
we have our classmates have grandchildren now.
I've actually got only the one that I know of that I went to school with. Although, funnily enough, their daughter, their daughter was sort of born when they were like 18, but their daughter's got just had a baby, and they've just found out that they're pregnant with their second one. Sort of like 20 years after they've had the first one, so they've got a grandchild and a new baby coming at the same time. And it's just like, wow, that's. But yeah, you start to realize at a point it's sort of like I'm not 21 anymore.
Yeah, it'd be fun. Like I'm about the same age as my niece, a few of my nieces. So like it's be with them too. But like niece, like their nephew or niece growing up the same time as them, it'd be like, fun experience. Like more like brothers and sisters and cousins than uncle.
Yeah. Well, because of that similarity in age, it's it's sort of it makes sense. But so I'm guessing the 98. So what's so in your name? What's the go with the 98? Why 98?
At the year I graduated high school.
Okay, there you go. That's the year I graduated high school too.
Cool. Yeah, I took the name because Vandalia is the city I grew up in. 98 graduated. I used to hate that because I was bullied a lot in school.
Mm-hmm.
So I hated Vandalia. I hated my classmates. I don't feel that way anymore, really. But at the time, I was like, ugh. So at the time, I decided to take something like something I hated and try to make something positive out of it.
Yeah, and that's good if you've got that mindset where you can turn something that was, I guess, a bad experience into something and own it and make it a positive experience. Then you take the power away from that bad experience, which I think is that's a positive thing that you've done.
But luckily, as years passed, they grew up and matured.
Yeah.
My bully actually apologized to me at my 10-year reunion.
That's good. That's good. I remember our 10-year reunion. It was a bit of a strange one because half of the dickheads that were there, some of them had just done a complete 180, and they were really decent sort of people, and sort of half jokingly said, "Oh, I was a bit of a bastard back in school to you, wasn't I?" Yeah, you were a little bit. But then some of them just hadn't changed, and you just kind of looked at them, and I think everyone just looked at them and just went, "Yeah, I was always worried about you, but you're just a tool, and that's it. You're a tool then, you're a tool now," and they probably still are today.
Yeah, some people can mature. Some people either mature, they grow older, or people just don't.
Yeah, that's it. And there's no rhyme or reason about it. It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's just the way it happens. But so whereabouts what part of the US are you from? So you East Coast, West Coast, or
Midwest, Ohio.
Okay, so that's
near the East Coast, between the East Coast and the Mississippi River area.
Okay, cool.
I'm not exactly, but
yeah, because I've heard of like Cleveland. I know Cleveland's in Ohio.
Yeah, I'm like a few hours south of Cleveland. I'm about an hour north of Cincinnati.
Okay, is that Cincinnati's in Ohio as well?
Yeah, it's on the river, by the Ohio River.
Okay, cool. It's funny because with the US, I mean, because culturally Australia and the US are so close, we hear a lot about these cities and these places, but we never really have, I guess, that good of an understanding all the time of where exactly they are. Apart from, I guess, if it's on the East Coast or the West Coast, or if it's Texas or Vegas, we all know where that is, and some other stuff that like, sort of anything that's not on a coast.
Same with Australia. I didn't know there's so many different sections of Australia. Like, oh, it's Australia. I know Sydney, and that's pretty much all.
Well, you know what? Out of a population of 25 million, 7 million live in Sydney, so you're pretty safe. If that's all you know, you're all right. So it's look, most of our population just sort of it's on the East Coast and in the cities.
Yeah, all I know about Australia was that and that weird clam-shaped building.
Oh, the Sydney Opera House.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a national wonder. That's
and the marsupials.
Yeah, we've definitely got different animals. I mean, I guess to me they're not different. They're I think the rest of the world has different animals, but yeah, I know we've got a few unique ones like the kangaroos, koalas. Obviously, I guess we got the emus, but they're pretty similar to the ostrich.
Yeah, we have the possums in our neck of the woods.
Oh, we got possums. Oh, we have possums. They're forever getting in roofs. They're painful, but now, because Australia was separated from the rest of the world a lot earlier than, like, say, North America, or say the Americas, that separated from Eurasia about sort of 10 to 15,000 years ago, whereas Australia was probably more, well, it was joined to New Guinea, but it was probably more about sort of 50,000 years ago.
A million?
Sorry?
Is it 1,000?
50,000, yeah, about 50,000 years ago.
I think you meant I think you mean a million years.
No, 50,000. 50,000.
No, 50,000 years. I don't think that. I think that's a little bit longer than that. 3,000 years ago, we were like leaving. Humans were around leaving Africa at the time. I think more.
No, 50,000. So it's because what it was the sea level was actually about 150 meters lower. So there was land bridges.
Oh, okay. I think okay. I think you meant like.
Oh no, not Pangaea. No. Because so the American Indians they crossed over the Bering Strait because there was a land bridge there, Baringa.
Okay, I thought they were talking about crossing back when the Gondwana separated.
No, because definitely not. Because the Australian Aboriginals came here about 50 to 60,000 years ago, and they're actually the only early group, or the first early group of people that it's believed actually would have used boats to jump a few islands in Indonesia to get to New Guinea and then walk down.
Yeah, sorry, I thought you meant the animals, marsupials, came up 50,000 years ago.
Oh no! Well, we used to have like megafauna and megaflora not too long ago. Like there was some big things here that would probably eat you if they had the chance. But now when humans arrived, the megafauna and megaflora shrunk, got a lot smaller. We tend to do that.
Yeah. Artificial.
So how are you doing? I mean, it's 7:00 in the morning. You've been up all night working, yeah?
Yeah, before I came on way here, I took a 5-hour energy drink.
Okay. Yep. Okay. So that'll keep you going. I did see you with the can before. So
Yeah, well, it's talking time. It's talking time with caffeine.
true. I did have a coffee before, but I will admit, being a Saturday night here, I'm having a glass of red now. So
Yeah,
this is my Saturday night social.
cool. Yeah, I don't drink as much. I don't like drinking. I don't like drinking alone.
Yeah. See, I don't mind having I don't really have a lot, but I don't mind
Yeah.
having just like a glass or two or something like that. It's I wouldn't sit here and write myself off. Although on a Friday night we've had a few messy ones online, but I class that as drinking with friends anyway.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah. Because I had this neighbor a few years ago when I was living in a different city where they, I would, we had one of those dual side houses,
yep,
duplex houses, and
yeah,
where
duplex.
he like, so we shared trash cans and stuff. So he'd like every Monday he had like 5 or 6 boxes of beer in every week in the trash can. I'm like,
Oh wow, okay, that's a bit much. No, look, I'm probably going to have 1 or 2 glasses of wine, and that'll do me. And yeah, that's I try not to go too crazy.
yeah,
I'll leave that to Jen on a Friday night.
like one of those. Yeah, before you logged on, I was watching the Vice Rhino's video today he did about drinking Kent Hovind.
I haven't seen it yet, but I definitely want to check that one out because it's the Wacker Hovend one, I think it was, or it's bloody Kent Hovend.
Every time he did something stupid, he took a drink or something. So I'm like, yeah, alcohol poisoning.
Oh damn, that's going to be that's you'd be dead inside a minute.
It's funny.
Every time Hovend said something stupid.
I never even knew Kent Hovind. Apparently, for as big as he was, even my 20, 30 years as a Christian, I didn't know who Kent Hovind was. Who is that guy? I didn't even know it until I started watching Atheist videos. So apparently, even the Christian circles wasn't that big a deal where I was at.
Yeah, no. So he got taught pretty actively where I went to churches, and I guess the groups I was with. And I actually, when I was teaching scripture in schools, we used to take his DVDs and basically teach Hovind. It's actually one thing I'm very ashamed of, and shows how little I knew about science. But we taught Hovind in school.
I think a year before I quit going, my church was starting to show Ray Comfort stuff.
Oh yeah, we had all that.
And then we went a year before I started going. We took 2 trips to the Creation Museum of Ken Ham.
Yeah, I've got to say, on behalf of Australia, sorry about sending Ken Ham over, but no returns. We don't want him back.
Yeah, it's funny. I want to go back there now in my different mindset I was back then. It's like 10 years ago or 12 years ago to now, see how different it is to me.
I think I'd have to go. It's funny. I think if I went to the States and I was over near it, I think I'd just have to go. I think it'd be like watching a car crash. It's you kind of turn your head. I think I'd have to go and have a look.
Like an hour away from that place, so you can come pick me, hop on the Dayton airport.
We'll go and do the Atheist tour. I reckon there's probably more atheists that go to that for a laugh than there are Christians.
Yeah, you go to the Dayton, pick up Dayton. I live like 5 minutes from Dayton Airport, so you go to the Dayton Airport, fly to Dayton, Ohio.
Yep.
Come get me, and we take the highway, sit down to the museum.
You know what? We'll do it when I come out to the States. I'll make a point of doing that.
You can stay at my place. I got spare bedrooms. Excellent.
That'll work. You can show me all the good sites of Ohio.
The ones I know about.
But it's I think it's one of those things. I just have to go and I probably wouldn't have gone to it when I was a Christian, but I think now I just have to go and you know, although I'd hate to give them money. I would really loathe giving them money, but at the same time, it would probably mildly entertain me. So, yeah, why not?
Yeah. I still remember they taught us we're going through the thing basically it was the 7 C's. See, I can remember them all. See, first was creation.
Yeah.
Then that was corruption.
Yeah, the corruption. Yeah.
Yeah. Then then catastrophe, the flood thing. Then the confusion, the Babel thing.
Yep.
Then they skipped all the way. Then they skipped all the way to Christ.
Yeah. What they missed was the last C, which is crap, because that's what it all is, crap.
See, then crucifixion. I think that was next.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that was one after that. I don't remember 6 of them then, or if I missed one, the crucifixion. I forget. So I remember 6 of them, but yeah, they're like, okay, flood happened and then Jesus happened. Let's get the rest, all the rest of the Old Testament. Like, that's not important. Like,
you just go with it. You just go with it.
Yeah.
That's all right. It's it's embarrassing for me looking back at looking at that now and just going, I bought into this crap. I seriously bought into it. You know, I went and got the Way of the Master, you know, the little notes with, you know, have you ever told a lie? Have you ever stolen anything? I used to do that. And I sort of look back and just go, like, I watch Ray Comfort now and just, I'm embarrassed for him. Like, you know, it's so bad.
I used to recover, you know, crazy. I used to like his assistant when I was growing up. When I was a kid, growing pains and stuff. Like, I used to watch it all the time. Like, I was like, wow, like, did he go crazy? Like, what happened to it? Like, so different. Like, I used to like that guy.
Yeah, it's sort of he went down a weird path, but I mean, I think look, he's forged a pretty good career out of it. I don't think his acting career was necessarily going anywhere, and now he's the you know, if there's a Christian movie, I think he's star billing in it, as long as he gets to throw his little Way of the Master jargon. Although he hasn't been as active lately, he's not really sort of Ray Comfort's kind of become the more famous of the two.
That's true. Yeah, you don't hear about him much anymore.
Yeah, maybe he deconverted, or they had I don't know, maybe they had a falling out or something. But I don't know. I'd be interested to find out whatever happened to Kirk Cameron. Why isn't he, or is he on? I don't know.
The last thing you heard about him was his Christmas movie a few years ago.
Oh, that was so bad. That was so bad. That was like embarrassingly just, you know, the whole angry at God, you know. Yeah, I've actually just jumped on the Way of the Master site now, and there's actually, I can't see any reference to Kirk Cameron. Apart from, I think maybe they've, I don't know, maybe they broke up.
The separate ways, like,
yeah,
they got divorced.
Yeah, it's I'd be interested to know that, so I might even might have to look into that. But sort of see, no, there's no controversy. But
so you said you like you're in the history. So you're in the history. What area of history do you like? All or specific history type?
So the area I specialise in is modern Australian. I have done a little bit of ancient, you know, I know the basics of sort of ancient Greece. But generally, it's modern Australian is the area, so it's sort of a little bit of a unique one. But yeah, I'm actually working out my plans for my undergraduate, my postgrad study at the moment, and the plan is I'm going to do, or for my PhD for my doing a PhD in Australian history. So yeah.
How many of you are still? A little joke here. So how many of you are still prisoners in Australia?
None of us. We were never prisoners here. We got sent to the most beautiful part of the world.
Yeah, because I think it was like, at least when I read it, was like used to be was like a penal colony or something, or a jail
Yeah.
cell.
So originally, so what happened was you guys in the US had your War of Independence,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
because they had
Ours was Georgia. Was our jail cell for all.
yeah. So what happened was because they had massive overcrowding in England in the jails, you guys had your War of Independence. They can't send people to America anymore. They kind of come across this strange land in the south called Australia. So the English just went, well, we'll claim it. And they, originally we were a penal colony, and people were sent here as punishment. And well, jokes on them. Better here than cold, miserable old England. Sorry to all the English people out there, but Australia is the best part of the world when we're not on fire. Anyway.
So how close is that fire to you? How close is the fire to you now?
Well, today's been a good day because we haven't the backyard hasn't been full of smoke, but yeah, reasonably close. So the main fires are in New South Wales, that's the state that I'm in. So I've had friends who have lost. I actually had a real good friend of mine who she's probably about an hour's drive away, but as far as the crow flies, it's probably about 50 kilometers. And she actually lost a house in the fires. So we have had them come pretty close. But my kids were stuck down at their grandparents' place and couldn't get out for 2 days because of the fires. So yeah, we're close, but not too close. So I'm on the coast. So worst comes to worst, I just go to the beach.
So any loss of any extinctions? Anything becoming extinct with the fires?
No, nothing will sort of. There'll be no extinctions. There's been 1 billion animals they reckon that have died, but we've got a lot of animals here. We've got we've got a lot of bushland. Like most of our cities are on the coast, so everything kind of in between is either desert or we've got a lot of national parks, a lot of native sort of parks. So yeah, we've got animals everywhere.
Cool.
But yeah, we've lost too many.
Gotta keep those rare marsupials going.
Absolutely.
So yeah, right now I think I've been studying the Bronze Age time.
Okay.
The fall of the Bronze Age era.
Yep. There's some interesting stuff in there when you look back at it. Have you had much of a look at ancient Greece?
Yeah, I actually got an audiobook about it a few months ago. Mm-hmm. One of those Great Courses Plus things.
Okay, yeah, cool. If you ever get the chance, it's obviously a very old book, Herodotus, the Histories, which is it's a first-hand account of the Peloponnesian War, which is really, really quite interesting. The war between essentially the Athenians and the Spartans, and all they're like their groups and their leagues. So
the Spartans, the ones that who seem to it's weird. Looking back at it now, the Spartans were the militaristic ones and stuff, but they had equal rights. But they treated their women treated their women better than the Athenians, who had democratic views. But they were picked more like women were second citizens.
Well, men in Spartan society. So what they used to do is when they turned 10. They all went and they just lived in the barracks from that point on. They were all trained. So if you were married to someone, you didn't live with your wife, but you would go and maybe visit once a week with your wife, and like she ran the house, she owned everything. The women basically ran the society while the men were essentially a standing army. But the Athenians, it was completely opposite. It was a very misogynistic sort of society where it's that the men ruled and controlled every aspect of the civilization. But no, not so much. The Spartans were, but the way the Spartans were set up, it was never going to work long term.
Was it more like a mixture of both, a little mixture of both things? Because I think they both had their high points and low points. Because even the strong men, they had strong women too. Sparta had strong women too. Like the women that can fight back in Sparta, like tough women, tough guys.
Oh yeah.
But then also if you're weak, the problem was if you're a weak kid, they got rid of you. Like
yeah. There's the difference, and this is where I guess the Athenians and the Spartans, the real interesting thing. The Spartans had a really just the best land army. But the Athenians had the best navy, and they were rich. They were ridiculously rich. So they just built a wall, and no one could get in, no one could get out. They had the wall go all the way down to the ocean. So, and they just kept going. Their navy just dominated, but then that could only last for so long as well.
Yeah, I used to study like Greek mythology and stuff, all the gods and stuff of them.
Yep.
Ancient gods and stuff, and I later I realized the Romans and the Greeks had the same things, different names.
Yeah. Yep. Same one, different take on it.
I was watching these videos about it seeing funny. You know how Zeus liked to have sex with the women and stuff?
He turns into animals, and he does all weird kind of stuff. Yeah.
That's one funny thing. Well, one of the people he had, one of his kids, the Perseus guy, who beheaded Medusa and stuff. Thing. Well, his granddaughter, Perseus's granddaughter was Hercules' mom. So basically, Zeus had sex with his great granddaughter too.
Oh, Zeus, he was a randy old bugger. He really kind of got around a little bit there, but fortunately, it's none of it was true. But if it was, I mean, how horrible was Zeus? He was, he was sick. There was one where he turned a lover of his into a cow, and then he turned himself into a cow just so he could have sex with her, and then he forgot to turn her back.
At least the Christian guy only had sex with a teenage girl once instead, like.
Yeah, well, that's it. He's a one-time rapist rather than a multiple-time rapist. Like, so I hope that doesn't get you demonetized there. Sorry.
I'm not. To demonetize, they have at least 1,000 subscribers and stuff. So.
Oh, you're close. I mean.
And
I
they changed it again. I think somebody checked, it was 1,000 subscribers and the constant, and like at least I think 1,400 view hours a month. I think
it's 4,000 in a year.
Okay,
4,000 view hours in a year.
So I'm nowhere near that. Even if I was, it'd be like, oh, I lost like a few. A penny or two right now. Like,
yeah.
It's like,
now, I've always got to be mindful because it's sometimes I forget that I'm not on my own stream. Where it's I'm not too sort of concerned. I'm nowhere near being monetized, but there's a few times it's just like I'll say something. I go, oh, hang on, that's okay for mine, but maybe not for yours. So they get a bit funny.
Well, but I think mostly I'm not near there yet, but I think most people get around the thing with Patreon now and stuff or whatever. Like, it's like,
well, I don't think you'd want to rely on just one thing for if it was how you sort of earn an income. You don't want to have just one source. You sort of want to have it from a few different ways to sort of play it safe. But
you need most of my other streams I do is on Twitch too.
Oh yeah, yep. No, I'm not on Twitch yet. I'm pretty much exclusive on YouTube, and I'm on Twitter as well. But I'm still trying to find. Although I might do some. I'm thinking of doing some gaming streams. So I'm thinking of doing like live Hearthstone play.
Well, maybe we can do like the Hearthstone again. Download again. We can do a little co-op thing or something.
Oh yeah.
Versus match.
I'd be in.
I haven't touched my Hearthstone in like 2 years, so my deck is probably like the basic starter deck still.
That's all right. It's pretty quick. I actually went off it for ages, and I used to be like, sort of not quite at legendary, but pretty close to it. And I sort of came back a few years later, and it's like, right, got to start again. And if you've got the hang of the game, you just kind of have to pick up on a few different, like newer sort of themes that they put in, but you catch up with it eventually.
Yeah, I've been streaming Kingdom Hearts 3 a little bit, getting ready for the DLC coming out.
Yep. Never got into that one, but heaps of my friends played it. But I sort of more the strategy, like Europa Universalis. That's probably my go-to at the moment. Actually, Europa Universalis.
And I say that that's my favorite series right now is Kingdom Hearts. I just love Final Fantasy, I just love Disney, so I'm like both together.
Hey, why not? if it works and you enjoy it, you've got to do it. But I think aren't they bringing back Final Fantasy VII? Like they're
Oh yeah,
redoing it.
they're remodeling it with more from less cute characters to more realistic characters.
Okay, can't wait to see how Sephiroth looks.
Oh yeah.
That's a game from I remember having that. I think it was on the PlayStation 1, and
Oh yeah,
you
it
know,
was.
like hours on it.
I think I was 16 or 17 when that game came out.
Yeah, yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. I lost a lot of hours to that game, but it's all fun. You got to do these things. You got to play games, enjoy yourself.
Oh, yeah.
I think why grow up? I think it's overrated.
That reminds me of not a little joke, but kind of joke or not joke. But do you know who has like Final Fantasy VII and stuff back and other games like that? The shipping wars are more dangerous than the Christian creationist atheist or evolution wars because they're crazy. The shippers of fictional couples.
Yep.
They can get like arguments.
Oh yeah. Big time.
Uh,
So how you doing there? It's I don't know how you can do the overnighter and then do this. I'll take my hat off to you, man. That's amazing.
yeah,
I didn't realize. I thought you were going to wake up early for me. I didn't realize you were coming in off an overnight shift and then yeah, that's hardcore.
yeah. It's getting harder now, but I used to live. I used to work. I used to be more. When I was younger, I used to love the nightlife.
Yeah, yeah. I can't. Yeah, I can't do the all nighters anymore. I actually stayed up for a stream where it's a similar thing. It was 7 a.m, and I was just terrible on it. It was just I hadn't slept. The brain wasn't working, and I'm suddenly realizing I'm not 21 anymore. I'm not 21 anymore.
Yeah. But the reason I even took the overnight shifts because they gave me a raise. Like, we'll give you $1 raise. I'm like, okay, like,
take the money. Why not?
Yeah,
that's good. Got to take what you can get when you can.
I've been there.
Put you on Australian time then. So
yeah, I've been that job right for 17 years now.
Oh wow. Okay.
They gave me this watch for being there because it feels like 20, 30 years sometimes.
Damn.
They gave me this watch. They gave me a watch. About New Year's Eve. The funny story is, on the way home from the game, the watch and stuff, I tripped and fell on the box, the thing, and I bruised my ribs.
Oh.
So I'm taking Trimadol right now for the pain.
Damn.
Luckily, nothing broke. It's feeling a little better now. It's just when I cough, sometimes still it's just like ow, pain.
How long ago was that?
About about the end of December 30th.
Oh wow. Okay. So it's still pretty fresh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you said New Year's, of course. Sorry, that makes.
Like I said, luckily nothing broke. But
It's
still the bruising still hurts a little bit.
Yeah, some of those things. Yeah. I'm glad. I'm glad it's nothing broken and you're all right. I mean, that's.
But I think part of it is also I'm like I said, we're not 21 anymore, so.
No, everything hurts a lot more when you hit our vintage, doesn't it?
Yeah, when you're a kid, you just cry a little bit, and like your neck probably better in a few days. Like, oh, like
they spray a bit of water on you, and you're okay.
Yeah.
Fun. Now I probably will have to go soon because it's getting close to midnight where I am, and I'm going to get attacked by my young children at some point, but I'm probably good for a little bit longer. But I just thought I'd give you the heads up just to pre-warn you.
See if wrap this up. Yeah. So yeah. Like I said, we should do it. I like to. So are you gonna like that? Like like copy mirror this on your channel or something, or cut parts of it out, like little things, or
Oh, I guess it's up to you. It's yeah, probably if you're cool with it, yeah,
I don't
I'll
mind.
go for stuff. Yeah, I know most people are cool, but I always prefer to ask first. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's like
I'm teaching myself how to do some video editing at the moment, so I'm playing around with a few other things. But
I need to learn how to do that too with some of my things, especially with making gaming videos and stuff. How to
yeah,
edit parts out, put the audio with the video and stuff. It's
no,
complicated.
definitely. I'll have to get you. I'll have to get you to come along on. I know that you've been in the chat on. Did you come on for Not Jars fundraiser?
Yeah, I
I knew you were in the chat, but did you jump into the? Did you jump on as well?
No, I asked you when. I asked, but I think I missed that. Like you want me to? I can't talk. It says I think I texted you or something, or as you like. You want me to come on while you sing birthday song to me? But
Okay.
but then you already did.
Yeah, might have been, I know at one stage I think we had like 8 people in there, and StreamYard only holds 6, and I was doing the constant rotate. But yeah, we'll have to get you on. It's for a Friday night six pack, definitely. If
Friday night, Friday morning.
Friday morning for you, but yeah, we'll get you on. We'll get you on for one probably in the next few weeks, and yeah, that'd be good actually, because I like having different voices. It's it's sometimes it's too many Aussies, and poor Jay, in the conspiracy, he'll sort of jump on his alone sort of international voice, so it's good.
Yeah, I like this. I've been doing it since I started my podcast. My networking of other YouTubers.
Yep.
Circle bigger.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. Well, mate, I'm enjoying the stuff. Like, I like your stuff. So, I mean, look, you talk about things I'm interested in. So, I mean, you had me at wrestling. I'll be honest, you had me at wrestling. As soon as I saw the wrestling video, I was like, yeah, we're going to get on. We're going to get on very, very well, I think.
Oh yeah. Oh, before I also made a joke with old video games and stuff back a few years ago when people were. You remember a few years ago the PS and Xbox war they were having.
Yeah, go Xbox, but yep.
I have a P. I guess for me, Xbox is the only thing I don't have. I have a Switch and a PS4.
Okay, yeah, I got the Switch and the Xbox One.
But me and you, we grew up in the original Sega Nintendo war.
Yes.
Old school war.
Oh yeah, no, I was firmly on the side of Super Nintendo.
Yeah, that's what I had too.
Although I did secretly play Sonic the Hedgehog with at my mate's place.
Most of my friends had very few of my friends had Sega. Most of my friends had Super Nintendo. But
yeah, look, Donkey Kong 64. I mean, how good was that game when it came out?
Oh yeah, that was like
the classic Mario Kart. I mean, Mario Kart is just amazing.
I made a joke, not like forums or something YouTube video. I forget what it was, but some kids or something were complaining about all these games. How the graphics don't look realistic at all, like GTA 5 or something, or GTA 4, if it was. But like these graphics don't look realistic at all. These are dumb. Like whatever he said, these graphics don't look realistic to me, and I'm like, really? Go back and play Atari or original Mario and see how good the graphics look now.
Yeah. Well, I remember when Donkey Kong came out, and we're all just like they're marveling at it, going, "It's just like it's real. It's it's so amazing." Or even a Prince of Persia, the original Prince of Persia. When you missed the jump and you fell into the spikes, and it's like a couple of red pixels would come up, and we'd be going, "Oh man, it's blood! It's so gory! Oh, look at this! Look at this!" But now I sort of look back and you sort of go, "Wow, look how far we've come."
Yeah,
but it's still really cool to play some of these old school games.
Yeah, we're the old original Mario 8-pixel things.
Oh yeah. Or Donkey Kong's throwing the barrels at you.
Like go play those old games. See how. Then you can play about the graphics now. The outdated. Then you can play about how the graphics today don't look awesome. Like they look to me like growing up. Like I made a joke one time if I were a kid, like I'm gonna start them with my old Nintendo or Atari first, and have them work way up like we did. Like, okay, this is an Atari, work your way up.
Well, I remember and I was about the right age at the time when the original Tomb Raider came out, and me and all I think every other teenage boy, we all had this massive crush on a very pixelated Lara Croft. Everyone was in love with Lara Croft. It was just like, and people would just say, "Oh, this game's almost pornographic. It's horrible. You can't play it." But now I look back and I'm just like, wow, that's very square.
Yeah, same with the original Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
With I think it was with Tifa, the boxer or monk character now.
Yeah, I don't remember a lot. I remember Cloud and Sephiroth always stuck with me for some reason.
Yeah, and then the guy with the gun arm.
Yes, yep. Man, I'm looking forward to when the new one comes out. I'll probably grab it, and that's probably only going to be on PlayStation, isn't it?
Probably. So you gotta get you gotta.
I can't do it. I mean, the reason I stuck with Xbox so long was because I got it originally for Fable. Do you ever play Fable?
No.
That is just the coolest game. That's a game that stands the test of time. It's just like, it's addictive. It's like the original BioWare game.
Yeah, I got the PS series after my Nintendo days because of the Final Fantasy VII, and because of the Kingdom Hearts series. I kept. So
Knights of the Old Republic was good too. I love that one.
I got my PS4 for $5.
How'd you score that?
I won a Taco Bell contest.
Okay. See, that's no good to me. We don't have Taco Bell in Australia anymore.
At the time that you get a little box, $5 boxes, a little code, and you text the code, see if you win or not, and I won.
Oh, there you go. See, I've never been that lucky. I always hear stories about other people winning, but it never seems to be me. So you've done well there. $5 for a PS4. You probably paid $5 too much. You should have got the Xbox, but that's okay.
Well, at the time, actually, my very first podcast video was about the Xbox One. At the time, I thought it was stupid. At the time, no offense, I thought it was stupid because at least the rumors at the time was you had to have online connection to even use it at the time. That's what the rumor was. And you didn't have online connection, you couldn't use it because it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
And the time I still had at my parents' house, still had dial up. So I'm like, wow, what's the point? No point in even playing it. You can't even get online.
Yeah. No, I can appreciate this. It's dial up. It's just I don't even know how we survived dial up, but I guess we live in a world where everything's streamed, and it's. I mean, here we are talking to each other on the other side of. We're essentially on the other side of the planet, talking in real time. It wouldn't have been possible once.
As we log off, anything you want to advertise on your channel, like any future videos coming up besides your Friday night?
We got Friday night six pack on a Thursday. Or it's either going to be a Wednesday or a Thursday. The new show we've got, which is called Never Discuss Politics, which is where we discuss politics, to talk about a whole range of things. This week I'm going to be tackling the Religious Freedom Act that's about to hit Australia, and why I actually like it. But it's just I've got there's a guy called Dr. Kyle Bailey who I do a couple of we sort of debunk, myself and Vagrant Sam, we tend to jump on and debunk him a bit and have a bit of fun there. But look, it's just I guess it's my channel's a little bit unique, I guess, so it doesn't appeal to everyone. But hey, anyone who's watching, come check me out if you like it. Hang around. If you don't, that's cool.
Yeah, for my story before I go, politics is the reason that it was the first reason I stopped going to my church. My church too, because right before I stopped going, they were getting into politics, and they're like, this is who you should vote for and stuff. I'm like, What's that do with Christian? What's that do with Bible? You know, like just
Yeah, it does sneak in a bit. Well, funnily enough, I used to go to church with the Prime Minister of Australia before he was the Prime Minister of Australia. So it's funny when it's when I have conversations with a lot of people and they'll be talking about the Prime Minister this. I'm thinking
was it a
that's
big
that's
church?
my old mate Scott from church.
Big church or little church?
Kind of mid church, probably about 1,000 people.
Okay, my church was at the time. It was like maybe like 50 people. We were
Okay, yep.
40, 50 people. So I was like, so it'd be like to like new in person, like hey, remember me from church? We're gonna be my come on,
Yeah,
be my channel.
With the Prime Minister, it's we did. Oh look, we had, because we got kids who are about the same age, and there was like a daycare or like a childcare while church was on. You could take them up to kids' church, and so we'd sort of be chatting up there. And no, look, it's
I think I used to like kid church better than actual church. I used to go. I used to volunteer to help out with the kids and stuff most of the time.
It was probably better than listening to all the other rubbish that they preach in the pulpits. So unfortunately, I couldn't skip it. But
I feel bad sometimes, now brainwash those kids, but I used to like to help. I used to do puppets and stuff.
Yep.
Playing with the kids and stuff.
Yeah, no, I was always the older ones. Although I do I sort of preach at youth church and things like that every now and then. But it was always the older ones for me for some reason, even though I wasn't that old myself at the time. But anyway, that's the joys of it.
Well, my channel will come right now. Next week on the podcast here, we're talking about the game Phoenix Wright, first the game. So anybody interested in that, come check it out next Saturday. And on my Twitch channel, I'm right now same name. I am trying to do critical mode KH3.
That works.
I have right now. I'm at 99 deaths and only on the third world.
Okay. Good fun. Well, thanks for having me on. I've enjoyed the chat. It's always nice to, it's funny how we can be on literally the other side of the world, and I have so much in common, and be able to sort of have a good chat. I guess it's what we call mateship in Australia. So it's it's really I've enjoyed it, and we'll have to do it again. I'll definitely get you on. I'll definitely get you over on my channel.
Do you have like a closing catchphrase you have on your channel?
Normally, I just do that, and that's it.
Mine's evolved through the years. My current closing catchphrase is "Never stop learning and enjoy the randomness."
And I'll throw with a catch you later.
See ya. Bye.